In this video, I want to share the journey of how chasing money and success led me to hit rock bottom after a breakup, and how that breakdown became the start of reconnecting with myself. Let me take you on this journey with me as I'm on the quest to discover how to help people feel more alive. If you ask most people what success actually looks like, it's about working harder, earning more, making more money, all that, material stuff. But for me, that mindset made me completely numb, isolated, selfish, and basically I built a life that looked good on the outside, but I felt completely numb and dead on the inside. But I realized that success means absolutely nothing if you lose yourself in the process. Real success is about enjoying the journey, having fun, feeling alive, enjoying the process, and surrounding yourself with people who light you up and support you along the way. Since that moment, I've spent years coaching, learning, experimenting to rebuild my life around purpose, faith, joy, connection, and feeling more alive every single day. And while I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, I can honestly say I feel more alive than I ever have before. And I feel like it's my mission to help people around the world feel more alive as well. Now in this video, I'll walk you through the exact 6-step aliveness framework that I created to reconnect with yourself, find deeper purpose, and create a life that makes you feel alive every single day. When you've been chasing success for so long, it's easy to hit a point where you look around and think like, why do I still feel so empty? Like maybe you built that business, maybe you got that promotion, you made X amount of money, but you just feel empty inside and like there's just more to life. You're meant to do something bigger. You're here to help people in a bigger way. It's like something's just missing. And no matter how much you accomplish, that sense of fulfillment never really shows up inside. You're always empty. That's exactly where I found myself. I was absolutely obsessed with building my business, making more money. My priorities were just all out of order because I thought that would just make me feel complete. That would make me feel fulfilled, and that's what I was supposed to do. But in the process, I completely neglected the things that actually bring life meaning. My family, friends, faith, joy, connection, all those simple things. I didn't even know who I was anymore or what I truly wanted. I was just, chasing something that never felt like it was enough. Then came a breakup that completely shook me and made me reevaluate all of my priorities. It was like everything I'd built, all the things I thought mattered, they suddenly didn't mean anything at all anymore. That pain forced me to slow down and really look at my life, and I realized I'd been living for all the wrong reasons. That moment, as hard as it was, became the catalyst for everything I was about to do. It's about alignment, not achievement. And once I made that shift, everything started to feel different. I found joy again, connection, a sense of meaning I'd never felt before. And that's exactly what led me to create the Alive Framework, the same process I used to rebuild my life around purpose, faith, and joy. Because if you've ever felt lost or disconnected like I did, I want to show you that you can find your way back. And you can create a life that actually feels alive every single day. I promise. All right, so how do we feel more alive? We have a 6-step aliveness framework here that I created that has helped me feel alive, has helped people I know and people I've coached feel alive, and I'm very confident it's gonna help you as well. So what is the 6-step aliveness framework? Number 1 is connection. What does connection mean exactly? Now, even in the Bible, it says human beings are not meant to live isolated. We're meant to live in community. Not only does it make us feel better, gives us support, it actually increases the likelihood of how long we're gonna live. If you look at all the places in the world where people live the longest, the number 1 common denominator is they live in community. So this might be the most important thing of all. So I like to break connection down into 3 pieces. Number 1, connection with others, aka community, your family, your friends, your circle. Number 2, connection with God or your faith. I think that's super important, which is also related to number 3, connection with yourself. So really understanding yourself is the basis of all of it. If you don't understand yourself, you don't know what makes you happy, you don't know what you want, you don't know how to build your dream life. So if you don't even understand yourself and what you want, how can you work to achieve that? Or how can you go on the path to achieve that dream life, that a life where you feel the most alive? So those 3 things are super important. Connection with others, connection with God or your faith, and connection with yourself. So what are some examples here? So a few things that I do, connecting with others, like I make it a specific point, especially as an introvert, I make it a specific point every week to go for a coffee with 1 new friend and 1 old friend. And so that is something that really helps me feel connected. Also, I like to go to the gym, and that's kind of a solo exercise. So when I'm feeling low on connection, I will make sure that I go to at least one group workout class. Another thing you can do is, instead of working from home, go to a cafe, go to a co-working space and work together with other people. So there's a million things you can do for connecting with others, but those are a few examples for me. Connecting with God or your faith, this one, again, very personal, but for me, what I like to do is I pray first thing in the morning. I like to make the first thing. So to me, God needs to be up there. And so I start my day with that by praying, just meditating. If you need help with how to pray, leave a comment below, because I have like a really cool way that I do it and that works for me. So I'm happy to share that. And then connecting with yourself is really just spending time alone in silence, not on TV, not on your phone, spending time just, thinking. Journaling is one that is really helpful for me that I should probably do more. But whenever I have issues or something I can't figure out, I like to sit down and journal and actually write it down. It just works better for some reason for me. So if you're having like an issue or you don't know what to do on a certain situation, sit down, write that question down, ask God for guidance, and just write out how you feel, maybe possible solutions, things like that. A specific example or a framework that I like to use when I have a problem is I'll write down, what the problem is or the question that I have. And then I write down, first of all, what is bothering me? Why is it bothering me? And then how can I fix it? So what, why, and how. That's kind of like the framework that I use. All right, so now that you understand how connection grounds you, let's talk about the next piece of the Aliveness Framework. Now, this is something that a lot of adults, myself included, often overlook, and that piece is fun. So having fun is where aliveness starts to actually show up. Most people are just too serious, stressed, or stuck in survival mode. They're always thinking about themselves and their problems. They forget that having fun doesn't come from what you're doing, but having fun comes from who you're being. So you can literally take any activity and make it fun just by your attitude. And that's something that took me a long time to figure out, and something that I'm constantly working on is just adjusting my attitude to have more fun and just be more lighthearted in general. Because for me, for example, I've been looking for my purpose and working with a purpose coach for the last several years, and I took it so seriously. And only when I started having fun with it, that things started to unlock and just, alignment started to happen. Like, God wants you to enjoy your life, I believe. And when you're really enjoying yourself, when you're at your highest level, that's when you're shining your light. And God wants you to shine your light to everyone so that they can see it, and then that gives them the permission to shine their light as well. And so it's just like this giant ripple effect. And so the base of it is having fun, because if you're just bored and you don't actually enjoy what you're doing, people are going to see that and they're going to feel that energy. So you want to radiate this fun and this aliveness so that, you attract the right people and you help others shine their light as well. And so fun can mean so many things to different people. For me, some examples of fun are playing sports. I like to work out, several different kinds of workouts, calisthenics, going to the gym, just hanging out with friends, watching movies. I love movies, creating things, dancing, drawing. You can literally bring fun into any part of your life. Like even if you're at work and let's say you need a little fun break, just get up and dance around for 2 minutes, or get up and do 20 jumping jacks, make it fun. Put some music on and you're good to go. So once you bring that sense of fun into your life, then I think it's much easier for you to dive into the next piece of the puzzle, which is step 3 of the Aliveness Framework, and that is purpose. So I strongly believe that everyone's purpose is tied to helping others in some way. And the way you achieve your purpose is through following your biggest excitement and your biggest passions. It could be big or small. You could be, a barber cutting people's hair, and that makes them feel good and that energizes them for the day. That's a way of helping others. It's something smaller or bigger. It could be, creating a social impact business. It could be volunteering. It could be, raising your family. That's a great purpose as well. But I believe we all have a purpose that is tied to helping others in some way, and it's more selfless than selfish. Now, everyone is selfish to an extent, but I think our purpose should be more selfless. And that's why a lot of people are struggling these days, because we're all so focused on ourselves, and what you focus on grows. So if you're focused on yourself and your problems, guess what? They're gonna seem huge, right? Now, if you focus on others and how to help others and you're focused on that, then guess what? Your problems don't seem so bad, because in reality, most of our first world problems are just that, and there's much worse things out there. So purpose pulls you out of your own head and into service for others, and trust me, that's much, much more fulfilling. Now, for me, purpose was this huge, grand idea, and I had a purpose coach for 2 years, and I was searching for it, and like I said, I was taking it way too seriously. But really, purpose is not this grand idea, and it can evolve, it does, and it will evolve and change over time. But basically, it's more simple than anyone gives it credit for. It's just about, how do you follow your biggest excitement and in order to help others, right? So, you could be an artist, and you creating art is your purpose, and other people see that art, they get inspired, they get influenced, it makes them happy, whatever that art form is. That's you just following your purpose by following your excitement and following what you love to do. So it's really as simple as that, figuring out what you love to do and doing it in service of others. That's all purpose is. And I know a lot of you will say, well, I don't even know what I enjoy. I don't even know what likes me. That's why it's so important to spend time reflecting and spend time getting to know yourself again. Over time, you will rediscover who you are. Because I've had this problem as well. I don't know what's fun anymore. I don't know what my purpose is. I've had all these questions. I always like to think back, who was I when I was a kid? You just do things out of joy and love, and this is your natural self. So think back to when you were a kid. What did you like to do back then? Did you like to draw? Did you like to, make Lego? Did you like to play sports? Follow those clues. Those, your purpose might not be to play sports, but maybe it's movement that you love, and so it's related to movement. So think of that. That's a thread that you can follow and pick on. So that's one way that I have thought to rediscover myself again, is to think back to when I was a kid. That's the purest form of yourself. So now when you reconnect with your purpose, that's when real growth can start to happen. You stop running around in circles, and that's when growth becomes possible, real meaningful growth. I'll let you guess what the next piece of the purpose puzzle is. Number 4, I'll give you a second here. If you couldn't guess, it is growth. Now, as humans, we're wired for growth, whether that's emotional, spiritual, mental, or skill-based. I know for me, if I'm not growing in some way, then I just feel stuck, or I feel dull, or things are too repetitive. And I think it's because we're meant to challenge ourselves. So, I've gotten in these ruts where I've stayed the same. I haven't tried growing or challenging myself in any way. And that's where I learned that, I need some sort of growth. Again, it could be big or small. It doesn't have to be something crazy. You could try learning a new language, which is pretty big, I guess. You could, take a drawing class, read a book, take an online course on something you're interested in. It could come in so many different ways. Listen to a podcast where you're learning something. I think the core principle behind it is to challenge yourself in some sort of way. Maybe it's trying a new nutrition plan, trying to eat more healthy, going to the gym, something where you're challenging yourself. Now, as you're growing and as you grow, something really powerful and cool starts to happen. You start wanting to create more instead of just consuming. And that's where our next pillar comes in. So pillar number 5 of the Alive Project is creation. Now, you'll notice I reference the Bible a lot because I think there's a lot of universal truths in there. And in the Bible, it says that human beings are meant to create much more than they consume. And these days, we're consuming so much through social media and our phones, Netflix, all that stuff. And I don't know about you, but I notice when I'm consuming too much, I just don't feel good. And the Bible tells us that we're meant to create. Constant consumption drains our aliveness, and creation builds meaning. So what is creation? Again, it's very simple. It's just creating something that didn't exist there before. It could be something as small as, just drawing something on a piece of paper or writing a journal entry, to something as big as creating your own business, or, creating a podcast, creating a YouTube channel. Some sort of creation, I think, is really healthy and really important for humans to be doing on a consistent basis. Now I'm gonna jump into our final pillar for the Aliveness Framework. And this one I think you all will agree with, but none of these pillars would matter if our mind and bodies are not supported. So the final piece to the Aliveness Framework, step 6, is wellness. Now wellness, I split it into 2 categories. So there's physical and mental wellness. So physical, I think, is pretty straightforward. You want to make sure, you're moving, you're exercising. And for me, exercise just boils down to 2 things. Number 1, something you enjoy, and something that's pretty convenient. So for example, I love to go to the gym, and if you do as well, I would suggest you find a gym that's as close as possible to you, because the convenience factor can't be overstated. And also find workouts that you actually enjoy. You know, like I really like going to the gym and lifting. I tie a why behind it. So I'm going to the gym so that I can have more energy to be more productive at work and also to look better. You know, let's be honest, we all go to the gym to look better. But I also happen to really enjoy going to the gym, and having a why helps me enjoy it more. Also, kind of gamifying things always helps, like trying to hit new goals, new personal records, lifting more weight, all that stuff. That helps me enjoy it more as well. But if you're not a gym person, there's so many other things you can do. Even just going for a walk, go for a run, find like a group class in the area. I think group classes are awesome because it also adds the connection component as well as, you know, working out. So that's super cool. You can make friends that already have like a similar interest. Playing sports, there's so many options you can have to improve your physical wellness. Now, there's also, of course, what you eat. That's a huge part of it. That's a whole nother topic. I'm happy to discuss if anyone needs help with it, but I'm not gonna get too much into it here. And also the cool part here is the physical helps the mental. So anyone that's gone to the gym or worked out knows afterwards you feel great. As for your mental health, this is kind of related to, you know, connecting with yourself. I think it's important to spend time alone, reflecting, journaling, praying, meditating, talking to people. That's really helpful, whether that's friends or a therapist. I think it's really important just to reflect and then, you know, express your feelings to actual people as well. So there's two components to it, the internal reflection and then, you know, having someone to talk to about different things that you're going through. I think those two things really help mental wellness. All right, so here are our 6 pillars just as a quick recap. We have connection, fun, purpose, growth, creation, and wellness. So now that you know all 6 pillars of the Aliveness Framework, here's the part that most people really struggle with, and that's, you know, how do you actually implement them? So after going through these 6 pillars, you can see that feeling alive isn't some far off dream idea, but it's something you can actually create. You can wake up excited every day. You can make an impact. You can be surrounded with a group of amazing people that light you up every single day. I promise you. Quite frankly, you deserve to live that life where you feel the most alive, because we owe it to ourselves and to others to make that impact and to be shining our light so that we give others the permission to shine theirs and just create this huge ripple effect in the world. Like, how cool would that be? Now, unfortunately, the truth is doing this by yourself is hard. Like, trust me, I've tried it. Doing anything in isolation is much harder. As you'll see, community changes everything. Being around people who think like you, grow like you, support your journey just makes you feel way more alive. And accountability is what multiplies your progress. Goals are so much more achievable when you do it with accountability in an amazing group where you're not doing it alone. Now, that's why I created the Live Project. I wanted to give you the framework and the community to help really support you feel alive every single day and know that it's not just some dream and that every single person can feel that way. If you are in Montreal, you have an amazing opportunity to join this one-of-a-kind 6-week experience. So click the waitlist link below to get yourself on the list. There's only 10 spots available. Now, if you're not in Montreal, then take the Alive quiz below, go through it, and then at the end, you'll be able to book a one-on-one call with me to see how I can further support you. My goal is to give you the support, the accountability, and the community that will help you implement the Alive framework and make you grow so much faster than you could ever do it on your own. So go ahead and click the links below, and I can't wait to speak to you. And welcome to the Alive Project. I'm really excited for this, and I can't wait to help the whole world feel more alive, starting with you.